Hmm.
So this new Oconee crossing doesn't come to us, it just goes straight back to the.
Unless they change it dramatically, they don't have to come back here. They just worked it out with the BOC.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that article in the paper, but that's weird.
And that's, just, bad.
Right.
It's, BOC.
By the way,
Hide it, then they really come back and past us.
Right, right. That's what I was thinking probably happened, but that isn't how it's worded.
That one, that would almost move to lawsuit as well. The arbitrate that one.
Because it didn't sound like that was just against anything going in, because they knew it was part of the.
Well, the developer.
Plan risk.
Lesson learned there was this opposite of them subdivision. Why they and that's because they planted them all at the same time.
Yeah.
And some of the.
Yeah.
But the other thing, go around, we have time expiration for some of these things.
Yeah, but that would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense, you have to come back to this.
Like maybe the Presbyterian village, that was platted for a shopping center bigger than that. Was it really? Yeah. And so when people were talking about Presbyterian homes there, I said, we need it down size that so that it doesn't become a shopping center or something big. But it was already platted. So, and it was done in like 68 or 70. So it was no longer viable. It obviously wasn't developed because it wasn't as popular a place. Always that it just sat there and sat there and sat there. But if we had some way to at least 20 years without it jumping back to.
What if any counties do that? It would have to be part of strategic plan.
I had a high school classmate that she had a law degree and she was on the planning commission. Oh, I didn't even notice that part. I'll pay it.
Yeah, that's sprung forward in this.
Yeah. Jennifer. No, it's not, yeah. I'll get your mind off. Sometimes. Yeah, it's just. Thinking about that and then ever lead in mind. I didn't get my. Have we advertised for a post number 1 yet? Didn't get my paper this week. There it is. $7 chime. Oh, this thing chime. Well. Whoever typed this up is the. All right, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order, even though it says 6 o'clock. I'm reading 7 on my watch. Good evening and welcome to the March 20th, 2023 meeting of the Oconee Planning Commission. We are a recommending body of the Oconee Board of Commissioners. Decisions made here tonight for rezoning requests and other issues will be forwarded to the BOC and or city councils if it applied. Tonight's agenda and sign-in sheets were out back if you want to sign in to speak on in favor or against. Procedures we're going to follow. Planning department is going to present report and recommendations for each request. We'll start the input, public input from the petitioner or the petitioner's representative. Then we'll ask any people wanting to speak in favor of the request. Those two should take us about 20 minutes total. If we have a little extra time, we'll save it for later. Then we'll take the public input from anybody in opposition. And we'll hope they have an opportunity to speak, but that period will be about 20 minutes as well. We'll ask the petitioner to come up if he has time left and wants to address some of the questions or comments. And then we'll close the public portion of the meeting, and it'll be up to these guys up here to discuss the request and ask any other questions that they need answered of the staff or the petitioner. And then upon the closing of that discussion, I'll ask for a motion and we'll discuss the motion and then we'll vote on it. I don't see too many participants, but basically we want you to avoid repeating yourself. And if you do come up to speak on behalf or against, give your name and your address for the record, please. So you have commissioners in your package, the minutes representing our last meeting. First order of go, I'll ask if there's any comments to those minutes. Any corrections? And then if there are none, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I move we approve the minutes.
Okay. Second. All right. Nathan and Chris. And all in favor of approving the minutes, please raise your right hand. Right. With that, we'll go into our first item of 2, and I'll ask Guy to come to this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Your first case this evening is there we go. Is P 220319 Burgess Jennings Mill Land LLC. This is located at Oconee Connector, the Loop, and Virgil Langford. It's currently zoned B2 in the regional center character area. And the request is to change the conditions of the previous zoning case 7734 from B2 to B2 with a modified concept plan that no longer has a road connecting from the project to the Oconee connector and no longer includes a realignment of the existing old Jennings Mill Road right of way due to additional acreage acquired from GDOT. So this is the concept plan that you have in your application packets. It shows the same alignment of the existing roadway network we have with an additional road to be constructed this location. Previously, you saw a concept plan that had a road coming out to the connector that is no longer being proposed. And there's a strip of right of way that has been acquired by the developer that will need to be zoned to the B2. Again, these are the architectural images you approved previously and have seen previously. And these are the conditions. Staff recommends conditional approval with our 3 standard conditions. And then, apologies there, it's back now. The 3 standard conditions. And then we added 4. The applicant shall submit an updated traffic impact analysis prior to approval of preliminary plat or preliminary site plan. Number 5, at least 80% of the exterior wall surfaces of all buildings and structures should be either brick veneer or stone veneer. The remaining 20% of each wall may be stucco or similar accent material. Service areas and dumpsters shall be visually screened from the public view by a 6-foot masonry wall with facade materials matching the exterior or principal structures with black painted metal steel enclosure doors. Enclosure doors made of wood or chain link are prohibited. Number 7, all lots shall be accessed via internal streets. A 1-foot no access easement shall be recorded on the subject property as follows: lots 1 and 7 along Virgil Langford Road right of way, and lot 3 and 4 along Oconee Connector right of way. Number 8, the total building square footage of the project should not exceed 174,500 square feet. And number 9, the following uses allowed by right in B2 zoning district shall not be allowed on the subject property. These are the same uses that were disallowed in the previous action and proposed by the developer. That's all. Thank you.
All right, so we'll ask the petitioner's representative, Mr. Bell.
Thank you, gentlemen. My name is Ken Bell, Bell and Company. And I reside at 1041 Lake Wellbrook Drive in Oconee County. And I've lived in Oconee County for 38 years now. And we're a land planning, landscape architecture, civil engineering firm. And we actually rezoned this property in 1991. Some of you, I know, might have voted on that 3 or 4 years ago when we brought it up. And we're not making that many changes to the plan. As Mr. Herring said, the main reason that we're here is that the DOT made some surplus property available, a strip 50 feet wide that is the entire northern border of the property. And so that property is technically not zoned. So for us to incorporate it into the project, it's got to be zoned something. And so the rest of the property is already zoned B2. So we're requesting to add that B2 strip, and rezone it B2 as well. And as Mr. Herring said, the only other major change to the plan is that formerly my clients had high hopes that they could access the Oconee connector at the existing signal where the Route 10 southwestern exit ramp is located. And after the DOT got through with all of their requirements, that was going to increase the cost by about $1 million. And then additionally, they wanted $400,000 just for the just for the crossing of the imaginary line called the no access strip. So that was more than the project could handle. So our client asked us to redesign the project, which actually works better. There's not remotely as much grading that'll be necessary, and we'll be able to use the lay of the land as it exists much better than we could by having to build up basically a ramped road to get to the Oconee connector. So again, the property is already zoned B2. When we presented it in 91, there were 13 lots. There's still 13 lots. We were doing more road improvements, but by being able to add the 2 additional acres, then we weren't required to make as many road improvements. So it's a simpler plan, and one that we're anxious to go ahead and get started on construction plans, but we can't really do that until we get this zoning taken care of. So I'm happy to take any questions that y'all might have about this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anybody written down. Want you to speak in favor? Kevin? There you go. And I don't see anybody moving this way, so I'll go ahead and close this. Is there anyone that wants to speak in opposition to this motion? All right, seeing nobody moving this way, I'll go ahead and close the public comments portion and bring it up here to you guys. If there's any questions for Planning Department or Mr. Bell.
I got a question. On the traffic study,
Yes, sir.
if it's the same thing that he proposed last time, do we see there's gonna be more traffic on? what-
It's very similar. It's like a 2,000, maybe 2,000 square foot increase in the building square footage
Uh-huh.
that may provide an increase. We just don't know. That's why the condition is there to require it to be reviewed again.
Okay. That was my question.
Okay.
Anybody else? All right, if no one has any questions, I will ask for a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the condition.
Mike has made a motion to approve with the conditions. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Dual links.
I'll let Matt have that one.
Sure.
It's in the. So with that, first and second, then I'll ask everybody in favor, please raise your right hand. Yeah, it's unanimous, it's excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Guy, we'll move on to the next one, please.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. Again, this is rezone P 230019, Charles Wyrock and James Kilpatrick. This is located next to Mallard Lakes off of Rocky Branch. It's currently zoned AR as part of the Mallard Lake subdivision, suburban neighborhood, future development area. And the request is to revise the rezone case 551 to allow for the minor residential subdivision of the 3 lots. The property was originally part of the adjacent Mallard Lake subdivision as a future development area. This is your concept plan showing the 3 lots proposed with the private access drive. The architectural images that have been submitted. And staff recommends approval with our standard 3 conditions. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Pittman, and I'll correct the record, it's 0015 and not 19.
Good evening, gentlemen. Frank Pittman, live at 1400 Saxon Road. I'll try to be pretty brief. As Mr. Herring mentioned, this property is 9.23 acres, is originally part of the original Mallard Lake subdivision rezone, but it was kind of held out because it was on the corner. They didn't know that, maybe down the road, it may be something other than residential. But because of that, that was an old condition in the original zoning that just said no future subdivisions without coming back to you guys. So we're coming back, asking for you guys to approve the plan as shown. just showing 3 lots. It's AR1 today, so they actually could do, if it wasn't for that old condition, they could do a 5-lot split on this thing, but they're just asking for 3 lots. They have buyers already lined up to build houses on them. We just got to get through this process. So with that, I'll leave it up to any questions you guys may have. Thanks.
Alrighty. Again, I don't see anybody else sign up to speak in favor of it, but I'll ask. And then I don't have anybody signed up to speak against it. Right, asked and answered, I guess. So I'll close the public portion and bring it up here to this table.
So did I hear right that this is a private maintained drive?
It'll be a private drive, shared private drive, not a public drive. Yes, sir.
Mr. Pittman, if it was developed with Mallard subdivision, about how many lots would it have possibly had?
Well, this was an old AR1, which I think was that a 1 acre minimum?
Yeah.
So they could have had, this could have been 9 lots if it was done back then at the 1 acre. And even under, if it hadn't been for that condition, they could do an administrative today with 5 lots administratively too. So, but they just want to do three lots, and like I said, already have buyers for it. So
Just double check. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got a question for Guy. What's our rules on on private drive like this? Are they paid to some standard or whatever
Yes.
the
So
owner?
No, they're paved with standard.
Oh,
So
they're paid
it's
to account
16
for
feet wide. Yeah, we have a standard for private access drives.
that. Okay, that's the question I had. Thanks.
If they access 3 lots.
Yeah.
There's 2 lots, it can just be a gravel drive, but 3 or more has to be paved 16 foot wide, turnaround.
Okay, thanks.
So with the school bus,
No.
It'd still be a driveway.
So that
school bus
kids
would
would-
not go down.
would go down to the main road.
Right.
All right,
Yes, sir.
Jeff, you look like you had a question earlier.
I don't have a question.
Anybody else? And if they wanted to do a school bus then.
Yeah, that would be a much bigger, that's what I was asking. Yeah.
All right, anybody else? All right, if I don't have any more questions, can I get a motion?
The motion is with staff recommendations.
To approve with staff. Okay, Gavin is first.
I'll second this.
All right, so I have a first and a second to approve with conditions. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, so that looks unanimous. So P 230015 that's passed. With that, I ask, is there any other business that needs to be addressed? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Jeff, did you do it? So moved?
So moved.
All right, Jeff is the first and I'll. But Mike says a second because he was already saying yes. That's good. Anybody that wants to stay here may stay. All right, thank you all.